In the UFC, a knockout finish may award fighters a performance bonus or launch their names to prominence. It may also net UFC odds bettors a tidy profit. A knockout is usually a dramatic ending, whether the consequence of a perfectly timed attack or excellent technique. We've seen a lot of knockout finishes inside the Octagon, but some stick out above the rest. Those will live on in the minds of fight fans for the rest of their lives. Here in this video, we will discuss the craziest UFC knockouts. But before we get into that, kindly like this video and subscribe to this channel. Let's begin.
Entrar en ritmo, dos tiempos, ahí lo agarra y lo prende, viene la definición y así cae Conor McGregor.
Number 10. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor 2. Dustin Poirier stated that 6 years long before his rematch with Conor McGregor at UFC 257. He was correct since the outcome of their second meeting was very different from their first encounter, as he evened the score with a second-round TKO victory. Poirier, who McGregor stopped in the first round of their first fight in September 2014, stated, "I'm thrilled, but not shocked. I made an effort." The first time McGregor has competed since defeating Donald Cerrone in January 2020, he declared, "Dustin is some fighter. I must do something. In our industry, being inactive is not acceptable." Poirier secured a takedown 30 seconds into the bout following a brief exchange between the two fighters. McGregor had some early success by getting in Poirier's face. As they fought in the clinch against the fence, McGregor got to his feet again, and the two exchanged shoulder blows. McGregor was imprisoned with 3 minutes remaining, but he landed a couple of knees before escaping with little over 90 seconds left. After Poirier's hook in response to McGregor's decisive right-hand goal, the two traded blows till the final whistle. The second round began with Poirier attacking McGregor's knee, but McGregor's punch precision continued to wow. After surprising McGregor with a left punch against the fence, Poirier unloaded with both hands, eventually knocking the Irishman out with a right hand. Poirier handled his shots well and kept busy. At 2:32 of round 2, the bout was stopped by referee Herb Dean after another mighty right hand was delivered. "We're 1-1, Poirier remarked. "We may need to try again."
These guys have been on each other's radar for quite a
Number 9. Derek Lewis, Curtis Blaydes. Derek Lewis took some time to get going against Curtis Blaydes in the main event of UFC Fight Night, but once he connected with a flush shot in the second round, it was game over. The heavyweight contender has 4 straight victories and is tied with Vitor Belfort for the most knockouts in UFC history. In the first minute, Blaydes reduced the gap, and Houston's Lewis hit first with a right hand, but in the following sequence, Blaydes prevailed. Lewis kicked Blaydes a few times in the second part of the round to keep him at bay, but Razor continually scored well in the striking exchanges with his punches and kicks, except for an unintentional eye poke late that briefly stopped the fight. In round 2, Blaydes came out swinging again, but Lewis deflected a further attempt at a takedown. But just as the Illinois native appeared to be seizing the initiative, Lewis fired in, stopping him with a single right hand, knocking him to the ground. After 2 further shots, referee Herb Dean declared the bout over. The second round's official time was 1:26.
And then he lets John Villante back in. First UFC win!
Number 8. Chris Barnett, John Villante. On Saturday night, Chris Barnett brought down John Villante with a spinning wheel kick to the head, swarming the New Yorker with unrelenting punches to secure the victory midway through the second round. Throughout the first 5 minutes, the pair swapped long kicks, and they were set to continue doing so early in the second. But Barnett turned, spun, and connected, ending the performance with a jubilant flip. After the fight, when given a chance to speak with Joe Rogan, Barnett urged the MSG crowd to stand up for the retiring Villante and then performed a celebration dance as he left the Octagon. Beast Boy wins his first UFC match with a fantastic effort both in the ring and on the mic.
From a wild exchange.
Number 7. Terrence McKinney, Matt Frevola. 8 days after defeating the LFA, newcomer Terrence McKinney made an outstanding short-notice Octagon debut, finishing Matt Frevola in 7 rounds for the 4th fastest finish in UFC history. When the two lightweights were called to the ring, they exchanged blows, and Frevola was knocked down by a swift 1-2 from McKinney. It was the quickest conclusion in UFC lightweight history when the second barrage brought in referee Jason Herzog to end the contest at 0-7 of the opening round. Number 6. Francis Ngannou, Stipe Miocic, 2. Francis Ngannou defeated Stipe Miocic in a rematch that served as the main event of UFC 260 at the Apex in Las Vegas, knocking him out brutally in the second round. It took a little more than 3 years than many anticipated, but Francis Ngannou is now the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. In their first fight, which took place in January 2018, Miocic knocked Ngannou out in 5 rounds. Still, the Cameroonian fighter has developed into a skilled mixed martial artist in the 5 fights since, evolving from a deadly knockout artist. But in the end, the Predator's strength compelled a heavyweight division change of leadership. In the second minute, Ngannou opened the scoring with an overhand right, but Miocic was unfazed, and shortly after, the champion attempted a takedown. Ngannou countered the takedown with several ground attacks before kicking the opponent in the head. It was a Ngannou round since most of Miocic's offensive attacks were leg kicks. The fight was stopped by referee Herb Dean at 2:52 of the second round after a left hand early in the second round floored Miocic. The Cleveland native got up and swung back, hitting a big right, but as he raced in to follow up, a quick left placed him back on the canvas.
So Bahamades.
Number 5. Ignacio Bahamades, Roosevelt Roberts. Early in the opening round, the two tall lightweights threw long punches and leg kicks at one another in the center of the octagon. Each guy connected with a solid strike, and both men moved quickly. Roberts was forced to defend himself as the Predator grabbed one leg and began controlling the fight by pushing the action and backing Bahamades down. Bahamades continued to lead the dance after moving back into space, throwing at a steady tempo and with more variation to the finish of the round. Beginning the second round, it was the same as Bahamades advanced behind a strong combination of punches and kicks, striking from various stances and levels. The 23-year-old UFC sophomore remained unfazed, remaining in Roberts' face and continued to fire off a high number of strikes as Roberts fired back methodically and used his jab to open Bahamades up. Bahamades was in command going into the final round, even though he ended the game with cuts at both ends of his brow line. Roberts was injured by a straight right hand from Bahamades early in the round, which prompted a hasty takedown attempt. Bahamades injured Roberts again after protecting him and getting him up again. After continuing to pound Roberts throughout the round, Bahamades unleashed a spinning wheel kick that caught Roberts square in the jaw and knocked him out. Just a fantastic way to cap off an outstanding display by the most recent Dana White's Contender Series graduate and a memorable manner for Bahamades to win his maiden UFC fight.
Of those inside low kicks.
Number 4. Rose Namajunas, Zhang Weili won. Rose Namajunas yelled, "I'm the greatest" to herself as Bruce Buffer introduced her, and in 78 seconds, she knocked out Zhang Weili to reclaim the UFC strawweight championship. The two combatants strolled about the octagon and became comfortable with it until Namajunas delivered a flush left kick to the head, sending Zhang sprawling to the ground. At 1:18 of the first round, referee Keith Peterson entered the fight to stop Namajunas from completing the finish.
Frankie moves everything at the same time. Body moving, feet moving.
Oh my God!
Number 3. Corey Sandhagen, Frankie Edgar. Corey Sandhagen's first round knockout of Frankie Edgar in the co-main event at UFC Fight Night sent a message to the top of the bantamweight class. A leaping right knee landed Edgar flush on the jaw as the fight got underway, sending him to the ground face first despite exerting his signature pressure. Sandhagen did not need to continue since referee Keith Peterson stopped the fight after 28 seconds of the first round.
Fire attack. Toughness shown on each side.
Number 2. Yuri Prohaska, Dominic Reyes. Yuri Prohaska of the Czech Republic defeated Dominic Reyes in the second round of the main event to earn his second victory and second knockout in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Prohaska's unconventional fighting style didn't seem to worry Reyes as he launched himself into a solid southpaw posture. Still, as soon as the native of the Czech Republic found his range, he started tagging Reyes with heavy blows. With a takedown, Reyes momentarily halted his opponent's momentum, but once upright, Prohaska continued dropping bombs, which Reyes was quick to retort. The first frame was jam-packed with action as both fighters took bombs. Reyes didn't back down in the second round despite being bloodied after absorbing numerous hard blows. When Prohaska appeared to be pulling away, Reyes pounded him with return fire, keeping Denisa on his toes. Reyes struck Prohaska with a left hand midway through the round, setting off a takedown attempt that almost resulted in a guillotine choke from Reyes. Before the two roses, Prohaska evaded and scored several ground blows. This time, Prohaska wouldn't be stopped, as he pursued Reyes and connected with a right elbow followed by a spinning left elbow that knocked Reyes out. At 4:29 in the second round, referee Herb Dean stopped the fight. Number 1. Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal 2. In the main event of UFC 261, UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman fought Jorge Masvidal again after defeating him by decision the year before. However, he didn't need the judges' assistance this time because a second-round knockout ended their feud. Masvidal launched a series of leg kicks to begin the fight, but Usman connected with a right hand to land the first significant blow. Masvidal deflected the punch, but the champion eventually knocked him to the ground after missing a knee. With little over a minute left, Masvidal managed to get back to his feet by keeping himself occupied with elbows from the bottom up. Usman hit the ground with a few more flush blows before the round concluded. Masvidal was beaming and assured as the second round got underway. But Usman put a devastating finish to the fight with a crushing right hand that sent Masvidal to the ground. At the 102 mark of round 2, referee Herb Dean declared the fight ended after landing a few follow-up blows. And that's a wrap on the craziest knockdowns in UFC history. Have you witnessed any of these fights before? Let me know your take on this in the comments section below. And if you still need to do so, kindly subscribe to this channel and like this video. See you later.